I'm Steve Gruber, your soldier of truth. The tip of the spear against all these lies out there. Here ready to fight for you from the foxhole of freedom. And please, my friends, remember to think while it's still legal. Don't just buy into it all. This is the Steve Gruber Show. Three big things you need to know right now. Number one, former President Bill Clinton is breaking with Democrats and says the southern border is a crisis and it must be secured or else we're in real trouble. Thank you, Mr. Clinton. Number two, former President Donald Trump appeared in person for a session of the New York Kangaroo Court, trying desperately to convince you he committed some heinous act they are, years before he even ran for president. And number three, normally Donald Trump in court would lead the way today. And the judge in the case, after laughing and being generally jovial in what appeared to be an inappropriate way, actually dumped about 80% of the case against the former president. I'll get to that, a big win for Donald Trump yesterday in the start of that civil engagement. But I'm going to start today where we were yesterday, and that is with the war inside the Republican Party that apparently has turned into a shooting war, politically speaking, of course. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz delivered on his threat to challenge Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy for the position of Speaker altogether. He promised he would, and Gaetz moved to remove Kevin McCarthy from the floor yesterday. Here's what he said.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida now seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House.
The gentleman will state the form of his resolution.
Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. Resolved that the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
And I don't know the procedural ins and outs of all of this, but I guess that's what you have to say to challenge the sitting Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. This is the first time since 1910 that a sitting Speaker has been challenged to vacate the seat, and it's not clear how any of this will go because it appears likely that it may take Democrats to keep him in the position, that being Kevin McCarthy. And, of course, if that happens, more promises will be made behind closed doors. And it's not McCarthy who's losing here. It's you, and it's me. It's America, because there's no such thing as public funds or government money. The only way the government gets money is by taking it from you and me, the taxpayers. Government doesn't make anything at all. They don't make money, they just squander it. And right now, we're on the most reckless, out-of-control spending spree in American history. And this comes after quite a few notable spending sprees in the past few decades. Our debt today stands at over $33 trillion. A number that is so big, it really is hard for most people to even conceive how much money that is. And under Joe Biden's deal with his socialist Democrat friends, and allowed by Republicans, I might add, the debt is growing at a jaw-dropping $2 trillion a year or more. To put it mildly, we're screwed. And the people we've sent to Washington to get things back in order, the people we sent to stop the socialists, to stop the Democrats from putting the final nail in America's coffin, are failing miserably. They're failing us. But the question is this: how will this stunt by Matt Gaetz fix any of it? Or make any of what the fools on the other side are doing any better? Or is it all just a futile exercise now? And something the Uniparty wants in pursuit of the Green New Deal or Agenda 2030 or some other misguided policy that torches the freedom and Constitution of the United States? Is Matt Gaetz a gallant hero, or is he just flailing in futility in pursuit of something that will never happen? Well, he wasn't holding back after his historic move on the House floor, and he said the blue team can have the Speaker. He's all yours, said Gaetz, as he burned down the House and said, Democrats, Kevin McCarthy's yours to take. Listen.
If there's a deal made with Democrats, the only deal is to make one with McCarthy, because I'm not offering anything and won't offer anything. And by the way, if the Democrats want to own Kevin McCarthy, they can have it. Because one thing I'm at peace with is when we stand here a week from now, I won't own Kevin McCarthy anymore. He won't belong to me. So if the Democrats want to adopt him, they can adopt him.
Now, Gaetz claims this is about principle, that Kevin McCarthy made promises he did not keep. Now, there's a lot of truth to that. And it comes not only from Matt Gaetz, from people like Nancy Mace, who are considered more mainstream but conservative. Gaetz claims it's about principle, not personal, and it's about saving us from financial ruin. That's what he says. Here it is.
Are you worried about throwing this institution into chaos, paralyzing an institution that your party runs?
You know what I think paralyzes us? Continuing to govern by continuing resolution and omnibus. You know what I think throws this institution into chaos? Marching us toward the dollar not being the global reserve currency anymore. You talk about chaos as if it's me forcing a few votes and filing a few motions. Real chaos is when the American people have to go through the austerity that is coming if we continue to have $2 trillion annual deficits. You don't know chaos until you've seen where this Congress and this uniparty is bringing us. Chaos is not forcing votes.
Now, he's not wrong about any of that. We are headed towards austerity and chaos, confusion in the streets, and millions of people here illegally that want theirs too, even though they have no stake in it. But Gaetz may have written his own political obituary by doing exactly what he did, as an ethics report investigating him for bribery and other serious crimes is winding through the system and is nearly complete. And many Republicans are mad as hell with Gaetz, so he could get the boot from Congress altogether, because, listen, a whole lot of Democrats would take great joy in kicking him out. They would. They would relish that idea. Congressman Jason Smith, one of the chairs investigating Joe Biden right now, said Matt Gaetz is trying to burn down the Republicans and the House. Here's the way he saw it.
The only way that Matt Gaetz could be successful at a motion to vacate, to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, is if more than 200 Democrats join with him. Matt Gaetz has never voted for or supported Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House. In all 15 of the rounds to elect Kevin McCarthy Speaker, he voted against him every time until the very last time, and then he voted present.
So in your view, this is just, a grudge thing?
It is absolutely personal. It is unacceptable. We have a lot of work to do for the American people. He has claimed that the reason that he would do it is because Kevin McCarthy didn't fulfill his promise of passing all 12 appropriations bills by October 1st. Guess what? We passed 70% of all the funding for government. We still have the 30% to go. But a lot of the stall tactics happened because he wouldn't even support the rules to move forward to go to the appropriations bills. And think about this. We funded more than 70% of government out of the House of Representatives in less than 4 months. We couldn't even start the appropriations process until we passed the debt limit bill, which was signed into law on June 3rd. October 3rd is tomorrow, so in less than 4 months, the House passed more than 70% of funding.
Now, I don't believe that Kevin McCarthy is going to leave. The one thing keeping Kevin McCarthy above water, Donald Trump, of course. McCarthy says Donald Trump is going to win the nomination and the race for the White House this year. Listen to this.
How much harder did your job get when Donald Trump came out and said that Republicans should shut down if they don't get everything they need? And are you going to endorse him explicitly?
Look, I think President Trump's going to be our nominee, and President Trump's going to win, because President Trump's policies made America stronger. We didn't have inflation. We had a secure border.
Are you endorsing him now?
We didn't have $100 barrel oil. So what I totally find is the president is going to be our nominee. The president is going to win re-election, President Trump, for the basis that we want to make America stronger.
Now, we'll have more on the President Trump appearance in court and what Kevin McCarthy said right there after the break on the Steve Gruber Show.